All right. Welcome to another Q&A for Believe in Magic Plays. I'm going to be your host today, Alex Borton. My guest today, Christopher Wiehl. Yay, Christopher! All right.
I was making
So,
confetti, but I didn't want to get it all over. So
what we'll do is while we're getting everybody started up and everybody's coming in on live, uh, can you please start off by just kind of giving us a brief history, where you came from,
yeah,
how you got here, and really kind of what you do?
yeah. We'll get the stuff no one cares about off at the beginning. Uh, yeah, my name's Christopher Wiehl. I am 25, I think. Yeah, 25, and I'm in New York, so that's kind of where I'm at. I've been doing magic I've been interested in magic for most of my life since I was about 4. My grandma went to New Orleans for a trip that she took, and while she was down there, walked into a magic store and picked up like a magic set and a little magic book and stuff because she had grandkids, so she's like, oh, we got to entertain them somehow. So she picked up the book, came back, and it was the book she gave me. I don't know if it's right in arm's reach here. Let me grab this. I think this might be it. The book that she gave me was the Klutz Book of Magic. All right. So I'm like 4 or something, and she gives me, she does a couple of the tricks in here, gives me the book, and I'm like, great, look at all these pictures. But I don't know what the heck I'm doing because I can't read. I'm like looking at these pictures, and I don't get it. So it was kind of like, thanks, but I can't really, I can't do anything because it's like I'm not a very good reader, and a lot of the magic is, you need to read how to do a lot of it or you're just looking at pictures and you don't get it. So that was kind of my first touch into magic, and I've always been interested in magic since there, but didn't really do anything at all with magic until I was about in 3rd grade, where we did a magic show. My parents helped us set up a magic show, my sister and myself, to do at our elementary school talent show, and it was cute. It was like a little stage show. We did a couple things, like we did, what did we do? Oh, I had to do like a coin vanish. It was awful. Well, it was pretty cool, I guess. But because I don't get the idea when you're a kid, like you have to like put it in your hand and like pull the coin, like whatever. So I was like, it was like this. It was like did it, and there's like music to it. It's like I'd go like this. It was like I didn't get it. It was like the worst thing ever. And then I point and I go like that. So that was like 3rd grade, kind of cute. Dun, 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 dun. So we had the music and everything. But anyway, so that was that. We did a little show. We did like the head turning in the box thing, and we had like a light bulb that would light up when you put it in your mouth, and we had like one of those mirror boxes where you show the front empty, then you pull stuff out of the top. As featured in Now You See Me, apparently. So we played around with that. But that was like my first magic show, and I did that 3 other times around the town for like libraries and stuff. So that was my first big magic show, I guess. And then after that, from 3rd grade, I didn't really do magic until I was in 12th grade. So about 9 years later, and I had a friend who his name was Justin, who came into my chorus class because we sing in chorus, but we fool around more. Uh, being the guys in there. And so he came in and he was like, oh, want to see a magic trick? I'm like, sure, I guess, like, whatever. I do a little bit of magic, not really, but. So he did like a 2-card transpo and biddle, and I was just like, what? That's awesome, So it was just I didn't know he was a magician, and then he showed me this. I'm like, well, can you teach me? And I know like the first rule of magic is like not to share the secret, right? But he's like, yeah, I'll teach you. I'm like, whoa, that was quick. That was weird. Okay, So he hooked me up. This was back when Illusionist was kind of getting up and going. So he gave me an old deck of Black Tigers, which was awesome, right? And then he let me borrow his Born to Perform Card Magic DVD. And that's kind of where I first started then. So he started me off with that, and he kind of would just teach me little things here and there. And and then that was it. And then then I graduated and went to college, and I met another friend named Tom Kashiwagi who is from Japan, and he does a little bit of magic, but I kind of ran into him during orientation, so it was like a real random chance I even meet that kid out of a huge school of like 20,000 people who go to this school for undergrad and graduate, so it's giant, and it's just like the chance. So I met up with him, and we started hanging out, and he would teach me stuff, and I'd try to teach him stuff, but he was a little ahead of me, so. But so I was able to meet him, and just from there, I just kept kind of performing all the time with the school, and then blah blah blah. Now I'm here. So,
I like
so
the
that
blah blah.
was
That's
yeah.
interesting.
The 7 years ago I started, and then the blah blah blah, and then that was just like me sitting in my room and practicing things that I'll never ever really do, but getting better at, and then a few things that I would do, and now I'm here. So. What
All
a
right.
what a journey.
Well,
So
perfect. That's great. Now we started getting questions flooding in, but before we get to that, do you prefer Chris or Christopher?
um, you can call me Chris here. I put Christopher on all my stuff because I like how it looks. I like the longer. Christopher looks better than Chris, and it kind of like gives more syllables. It's but so I put that in all my work, school work, magic work. But you can call me Chris because it's shorter to say, and you know,
All
we're
right.
all friends here. So
All right. Well, normally it's Alexander, but you can call me Alex, so it's okay.
all right,
Uh, Chris, you got a little special something for us towards the end. We got a contest running for this video. There's going to be a magic word that you're going to say. And as soon as this magic word is said, as soon as anybody hears this magic word, I want you all to start messaging me directly. You can find my email or my Facebook information right in the links in the question link. So email me or message me directly, and we'll take the fifth or sixth. We'll take the fifth message. Gets the prize.
yeah, keep an odd number. Keep them guessing.
Okay, perfect. So all right. So the word is crimp. So
Yeah.
when you hear the word crimp, start messaging me, and at the very end of the broadcast, we'll go ahead and announce the prize as well as the winner. So that sound good to
Yeah.
you?
So yeah, at the end, I think we'll be like, all right, and the magic word is we're not just because if I say crimp, like I just said it, don't start messaging Alex because then they'll be
Right.
like, oh no, we'll do it later. So yeah, you'll be able to win. Do we tell them what they could win, or do you want to wait, or what do you think?
If you know exactly what you want to tell them, then you can tell them right now. Otherwise, we can let the mystery ensue.
Yeah, you'll win something. How about that?
I like that. Mystery
It'll be
ensue
good.
works for me.
We might give out two prizes for the runner-up, who would be, I don't know. We'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But I like giving away stuff, so we're gonna give away some stuff.
Perfect. All right, so we got questions flooding in. Give me a second. I'm going to just try to go through them and do them in no particular order. Let's see here. Okay, here's a good one from Sean Mullins. What are your thoughts on how magic is taught today, and what do you think can make it better? What is currently making magic worse?
So the way magic's being taught today, we all kind of know that it's moving into downloads, DVDs, and more visual learning. And it's a good place to start because a lot of people have this conflict between, oh, books are better, oh, magic's better, watching movies are better, and whatever. And it really depends because if you're trying to learn and you want to learn successfully, you can't just say, oh, read a book, because there's people out there who have problems reading books. There's people out there who just, as a kid, I get this book, which is simple. There's no, they're not going to be like, all right, and do a diagonal palm shift, hold with a third finger break or something, and be like, well, okay, well, what does that mean? Because I just got this book. So this is really easy reading, but for me as a kid, like I don't even know what age this is for, but I couldn't read this, right? So for me to have this, if it was on video, I'd be able to learn much better. Now let's say I can read, right? Some people, just have a problem reading. Some people don't have the concentration. Some people, or it's just harder to see exactly what's going on because some moves are very hard to describe. And a lot of good magic that's coming out now, the people who do it might not be the best writers. So, you're going to get a really cool trick and they're going to just describe it not so great, or there's something missing, or you don't exactly see how it works. For me, I like learning by watching, and there is like it's called mirror neurons, where you actually learn better from watching and copying someone. So I think learning as a video is a bit more efficient to learning. But I do think books hold some more information that won't be taught in a download. Because even if you get the complete course of Magic on DVD, there's still going to be things that it's not totally complete. There's still stuff that is out there only in books and only in even sometimes only in video. I've seen a lot of really good videos that you won't find those moves anywhere else. Like, yeah, they're variants of or derived from, but I think when it comes to Magic learning, if we're trying to teach, I think the more variations, the better. I do think that we are already in the next phase of learning, which is like online lectures, online teaching, which takes the expertise, the video, and then also the live feedback. So if someone is, at reading a book or something and saying, "Hold on, what happens about this?" You can't really ask them. Now with online and everything, it is getting easier to ask someone. I have a trick that comes out. Someone's like, "I don't know what's going on here. Let me," and they email me. I'm like, yeah, okay. Sorry, I guess that I didn't explain that well enough. Or here's another way to do it that I didn't include. But doing like a live online lecture, you're actually able to receive feedback directly from. So and learning might even go toward. It might go back to some books, because, history kind of repeats, and I think books are going to be valued a bit more because with most stuff going directly to a download format, like because back when you buy a product, you get a DVD, you get a gimmick, and now you get the Ash and Ember, you're getting the gimmick, and then you can download the video. So they're kind of cutting out DVDs, going directly to downloads and instant downloads and stuff, which is good. And I think with the multiple formats coming out, so I think books and physical items will become more valuable, and people might, they'll start saying, "Oh, it's on book now." It's like, "What? It's on book? I might get that," because now it's, physical, and people, I think, might go back to that.
Right. Well, and all the digital stuff is just a media thing. Media has advanced, therefore, how we view media has advanced. One of the topics we touched on in some of the forums is that you can learn something from everything and everyone and everywhere. Just there's always something to be learned if you're looking. That being said, the nice thing about a book is that somewhat of it is left up to your imagination. So you can go through and do a move, but now you get to expand on it because now you made a happy accident. Or, hey, this isn't what I can do, but hey, I can do this and it achieves the same effect. So they all kind of have their relevance.
Yeah, and I think books also, and depending on what you want to get out of it too, I think creating it's really helpful to look through books. And sometimes I'll just look through books and just read the description, right? Like I have this old Tannins magazine book. Like it's a book that Tannins used to put out. And I'll just read through these descriptions of these tricks, and some of them are the most ridiculous things I've ever heard, which makes me kind of think, well, Magic nowadays, I guess, isn't any farther or more ridiculous than it was. I guess we'll be all right. But yeah, some of these are ridiculous, and sometimes they're pretty cool, and you'd be like, how would that work? huh. And then, if you're creating and you're trying to create something, you might come up with a method for it that's totally different, or it might spark an idea for another idea that you had. So I think there's value in both. And I know that wasn't really, I don't think that was part of the question, value or anything, but um,
Absolutely, it
I'm
was.
going to school right now to get my master's in school psychology, which is pretty much we just figure out why children aren't or they're having problems learning. That's one of the things is we're trying to figure out why children in schools can't learn or have difficulties learning. And so, if we were like, okay, well, they're having difficulties learning. Well, how are they getting taught? Well, they're getting taught. The teacher's just up there writing on the board. Okay, well, we can't change that, which we can. But, if we thought in that way, like, oh, well, they just have to deal with it and read out of the book, we're not going to do anything else, then how else can we try to teach these kids? And that's not how it works. What we want to do is, oh, they're only teaching by writing on the board? Well, let's try to get some different teaching methods in there. Let's do maybe some interactive group learning, some, online, do some video stuff, do some physical, and like we try to expand the way you learn. So I think if we want to get the best students in Magic, we can't just teach one way. And you'll hear it all the time from older magicians talking about meeting these kids at these conventions. And I've done this. I meet kids at conventions, and and I say kids, but they're only like 5 years younger than me. That's how I know I'm getting old. But no, but you meet these younger guys who start out because I started out when I was 18, so anything younger than 18, right? That's what I'm basing it on. And these kids are doing like the craziest stuff. I'm just like, man, that kid's good. Now, for me, we're kind of in this generation of mass learning and information so easy to get to. But you see like older magicians, who are like 40s, 30s, 40s older, who will see these kids and be like, whoa, like there's like if these kids are gonna be, if they keep going the way they're going, they're gonna be like a different level, because there's just so much we can learn differently now and different ways to learn it. And there's also some downfalls to that. Like we kind of get addicted to learning as much as we can, and sometimes we try to learn too quickly. Right. So, and I catch myself doing this all the time. I like watch something, I'll be like, all right, well, that's a nice method. Done. And it's like, well, I didn't even get into like, the actual crux of it all. And I'm like, oh, I got to go back and, actually watch it now. And that's the problem. Like, even with my own stuff, I'm watching like, if I have to, like, pre-watch my stuff, it's like, oh, I just want to get through it. Like, it's so long. But, and I think we're kind of instant gratification. We got to kind of just know how it's done. And we don't think about why it works, or think about, why it would or why it wouldn't work in the real world, So I don't know if that answered Sean's question.
Yeah.
Probably touched on it. I'm sure he'll write to me and be like, "You didn't answer anything," or it's like, "Yeah, that's fine." So we'll see.
The question again was, what are your thoughts on how magic is taught today? So that covers all of that. But the other question was, what is currently making magic worse?
Yeah, and I kind of touched on that, and I think it's the instant gratification.
Right.
I think it's also the mass amount of information that's out there, and the way you can get a hold on it. I could search up almost any video product, any book, and I'll find it online somewhere for free. Which is kind of bad for the community, magic community. It's kind of a give and take, because I don't think it's that bad for exposure to general audiences, but just to the work of people who put in all that work. It's more of a disservice to them. But I think also just I think it's all due to the technology, and the information is just out there, and I think that's getting a little easier to and I think also with marketing is getting bigger. Like back 56 years ago, you want to learn how to do magic, well, you're going to have to go into a store. So first you have to go find a store to go into, and then you're going to have to talk to the guy, and he's going to be like, well, here, check out these. This is like a little dumb little trick. This is like a little, I don't know, like they teach
Little color
you,
box or something.
yeah, something like, I don't want to say like they probably teach you a hot rod or like a sponge ball routine,
Right.
which, are good. They're solid routines, but it's like they're not going to teach you like the big secrets, and you kind of have to build up to that. And so nowadays you don't have to go into a shop. I can do it right here. I'm going to go into Penguin or go into wherever else I want to go, and boom, oh, there's the trick that David Blaine blew the world away with. It's the trick that I think on Penguin they were just like, let me see if they still have it up. They were saying like, here's the trick that won America's Got Talent. It's like, oh well, great. Now I'm going to go and just know how to do that, and so I think the marketing is kind of getting in the way a bit too, because there's so much online marketing, and if I type in learn magic tricks, right? Like I'm just some kid who wants to, let me see, learn magic tricks. Pops right up first, magic about good tricks, illusionist. You're getting YouTube videos,
Even if
so.
you do free magic tricks, that you get a lot of that.
Oh my God, right? And so I think it's just the way that things are promoted, marketed, just the availability of it online. That's kind of a downfall. But I think it's almost made up for in a sense, because if you want to look at it that way, like, oh, now everyone's going to know the tricks, well, good for you. There's like a new trick every 2 days that comes out.
Right.
So you'll never be short on tricks. There'll never be short on people saying, oh, I know how you do that. Well, how about this one? No, I haven't looked up that one yet. And then, so there's always new stuff coming out, and it's balancing, but it's there's such extremes that I think we can't find a middle ground for it.
Well,
Some, yeah.
well, and we're the same age. I'm 25 as well. So like we grew up in a world that was just getting acquainted with the internet, and a lot of these kids are very are very heavily informed about the internet. I think that that'll kind of subside. I watched a video that I'll be hopefully reviewing, and I loved the opening for it. Normally, how you see the FBI warning, if you copy this, blah blah blah. They said this is not. We were going to put an FBI warning up here, but we decided that it doesn't do any good, and we're not going to prosecute anyway. So the deal
Is
is,
that
just
sci-fi?
understand that it's a respect thing. Please understand that like
Yeah.
we're trying hard and we need the money.
Now, is that from sci-fi?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, that's great. I don't know. I've never. And that gets into a whole other this conversation about magic nowadays and the expectations, because like I have a friend who's putting out a DVD, and I'm telling him straight up, I'm like, okay, well, you're gonna get people watching your stuff, and they're gonna say it sucks. They're gonna say how much they hate it. They're not even gonna look at it, and they're just gonna say this is garbage. They're gonna look at it and say, who would want to do this? And this guy is doing these tricks every day as a living, and he does this routine. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Uh, uh, and some of you guys have seen it. But it's with a Rubik's Cube. I'll just say that much, because it's, why not? But it's the craziest thing I've ever seen with Rubik's Cubes in my life. And this guy does them every day. He's always performing, and it's working material for him. Yes, it's difficult, but he does it all the time. And people are going to say, this is crap, And I'm going to be like, people are going to be exposing it. They already are almost, People are going to expose it. People are going to, you're going to see downloads of it for free, and you're going to see people showing it online. And I think it's a sad truth, but that's just what the expectations have to be if you're going to be a creator nowadays. So if you're planning on putting out your new download, putting out, and that's why books might come back, because books are a little bit more work to expose.
It's tangible.
And a little bit more work to put out there. Yeah, you're still going to have people who are going to buy the book and go online and expose it, but there's still a lot more in that book than they're going to be able to expose, and it's going to be probably written a lot better than the way they're exposing it. So I think once that gets to the point, people are going to start saying, well, I'm just going to put it on a book so it doesn't get exposed. And which is the reason why a lot of the tricks nowadays, I think, have gimmicks, because it's hard to download a gimmick,
Right.
And there's a lot of people out there who won't take the time to make the gimmick.
Try to figure it out,
Or
right?
whatever. And so, there's things we're doing to combat it. piracy, and but it's just one of those things that's going to happen no matter how much you try, no matter how many fake tutorials you put up, or how many FBI warnings you put up.
Right.
Because I could put out an FBI warning, and if you go online on YouTube and teach it, that's the FBI
Right.
warning isn't going to do anything because it's not the material, the copyrighted material, you know. Now, if I went on to, it's same if I went on YouTube and I did like, sang a song, from someone else. It's not the copyrighted material if I sang it
Right.
myself. Um, there's just a lot of things you got to look out for if you're starting to create and if you're starting to work on stuff. And
Well, we have actually, I have a question that goes right into that, but right before I get into creating and whatnot, what's your opinion on the limited releases? You know, in mentalism, especially, limited releases are a big thing, and they're kind of being pushed out and around that. So it's you actually telling the person, yes, I'm going to give this to you, as opposed to like them buying it from a shop.
So limited releases. For me, I haven't dealt a whole lot with limited releases due to the fact that I'm not into mentalism as much, but I have seen it happen a lot.
Mhm.
And then I also see these limited releases that are limited, but then in like 3 months they're back on the market. Um, and it's kind of, you see the same thing with video games nowadays. You got exclusive content if you pay early, and it's a lot of marketing, I think. And by keeping it exclusive, it's mostly books, I think, right? That
Yeah.
seems to be all
Hmm.
what I see is a lot of books and stuff.
PDFs.
It's really up
Yeah.
to them. I think there's positives and negatives to all these sides. Positive being it's probably less money to print out only 200 copies as opposed to 1,000 copies.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, uh, it's probably easier to get 200 copies. You also create the hype, like, oh, there's only gonna be 200 copies. Oh, well, I'm gonna charge $100 per book. And the book is a paperback book. And so it's kind of a marketing thing too, and so. I guess that's how I think about limited releases. If they're really limited, fine, but I don't want to be paying for a limited release that's not as good as it could be, or they didn't. If I'm getting a limited release, I would like it to be worth the limited release.
Worth
And
it.
I want a hardback book. I want something that's going to last me that limited release feel and be possibly worth something in the future. I don't want it to be just the next fad and then you know
Right.
and
No, and I get what you're saying. And from what I seen of the mentalism releases, some of them a lot of them have been pretty limited as to actually being limited. But I do understand what you're saying. A lot of those have just a few months later they come out and they're almost the same price or less, even
yeah.
sometimes. And that's just why did I spend that money? Um, Sam Pandya asks, what are your strategies and inspirations for creating tricks?
Yeah, a lot of people have different ways of creating tricks. For me, a lot of the creativity comes from knowledge in general and inspiration from other situations and other tricks. And a lot of the tricks I come up with are based off of other examples or things that we've run into or situations. So the first step to creating would be to get as much information and knowledge as you can get, which is it's the same way if you are trying to be a doctor and trying to get a Nobel Prize, you really need to know so much information, and even though if the information is just in one little category, instead of the whole thing, it's just really one area, you need to be pretty proficient. You need to be an expert at that, which I think helps a lot with creativity. It's not necessarily needed for creating magic tricks, but it makes the process a lot easier because I could sit down and be like working on something and be like, oh, well, this is, I think this is new enough or this is a different method enough where it's not out and it'll be, worth working on. if that's the case. Uh, so the first thing, and they always say think outside the box. And when it comes to thinking outside the box, you kind of need to be able to get out of the box, first of all, which is where all information comes in. So if you're in a big box, you got to be able to get out somehow. And you're going to build that ladder out of information. So if you're working on, if you if you want to come up with the next big sponge ball trick, the next cool innovation in sponge balls, you better have some sponge balls on you, and you better know everything about sponge balls and get out of that information of sponge balls and say, well, what hasn't been done, or what can I do with these? So you really need to, knowledge is the first thing. Second thing is just being open-minded and trying to like keep your radar on at all times, because you'll be walking around and someone might say something, and most people just be like, yeah, brush it off, and you'll be like, whoa, that would be kind of, hold on, that could be something for a magic trick. Yeah, that'd be cool. Like walking around in English class and being like, oh, the sword and the stone. Oh, well, sword and the stone. What if I can make an actual sword and stone? Getting things from mythology or getting things from ancient history, just from the news in general, hearing stories, and you're just taking all this information, trying to compose it into something that you can actually do magically. So in my creative process, a lot of it almost is passive, because I'm just picking up with magic. It's like magic radar. I don't call it that except for here, but that's what you can kind of allude it to, would be like a radar, and you always have it on. Being a magician, you're always thinking magic anyway, and so by having that on all the time, you're going to like run into situations and be like, oh, that could be a good trick, and you write it down somewhere, or you type it in somewhere, whatever means to keep it, and then later on you work on it. So a lot of it's kind of just happens passively. Sometimes I'll sit down. I don't think I ever sit here and I'll say, all right, Chris, got everything ready, let's create a trick. I don't find myself doing that a lot, just because it's kind of forced creativity. You're kind of really just doing it for what real reason. Now, if I was to sit down and say, all right, Chris, let's work on your show, and I'm going to sit here and work on my magic show. Okay, well, how do I want to start off? Where do I want this to go? Well, what would be cool okay, so I want to do a show at a library. Okay, so what book can okay, let's take like the Time Machine. Okay, the Time Machine by H.G. Wells. Let's see, traveling in time. Well, what would be cool? Oh, maybe we can have a box here, and then the cards here, and you know what I mean. And so now it's like you're trying to think of a trick to do there. So let's say I have we want to travel in time, so I have two like little black boxes on the table, and I lift one box and there's cards, a deck of cards, and I open the deck of cards and I take the cards out and I put the cards on the table, put the box over here. And then I talk about H.G. Wells' traveling time or whatever in the book, and then I put the box here, put the box down here, and I snap or whatever, I lift them up and the box is gone, and over here the box is back on the deck of cards. So right there, that's something I've never thought of before until just talking about it now in the context of necessity of a show. So I think a really good way to create stuff like that would be, and that's how I create stuff too if I'm looking at like a show or performing, which also gets into the next kind of stage of the creation process, which is actually doing magic and working. And if you're out performing at a show, or especially love doing walk-around magic, because doing a show, you're doing your show, you have like your setup and you're doing that, and you kind of have run across a lot of the comments that people make, and then if once in a while I have someone make a comment, and yeah, that'll be cool, like, oh, maybe I can add that to my show. But when you're doing walk around, you're doing the same little show like 100 times, and people are gonna say different things every time, and it's more intimate, so people will say things. So you're always picking up more ideas, and you'll be like, well, that'd be something cool to work on, or that'd be a cool premise. And a lot of your routining will come from just doing it over and over again. Because I was doing rubber band stuff. I was doing the rubber band through finger, where you have the rubber band like on your finger, and then you like tear it through. And I was doing that all the time. And the what I had for it was here, watch. I'm gonna put this around my two fingers here. What fingers? These ones. Yeah, and shake it, and now it's on the other two fingers. Go through my fingers, then they should be able to go through my thumb. It's like, okay. And that worked out because it kind of tied together. And then I was hanging out with some kid just in the middle of a show, and I was playing around with this thing where you have the rubber band, and then you give it a shake, and it ends up tied, wrapped in between your fingers, right? I don't know if you've seen that, but I was playing around with that, and it was like, if you want to be a magician, and this is what I told him. I just told him that, I'm like, you've heard, like, they'll be like, the hand's quicker than the eye, right? You've heard that. Everyone's heard that. Hand's quicker than the eye. And you'll meet magicians who say, no, that's not true. But you know what? It kind of is. It kind of is, and you do have to be very, very quick. And if you can be as quick as a rubber band, then you could be a magician. Because rubber bands are quick, right? Look how fast that's going. Look. It's not fast now, but look, if you go like this, boom. Did you see how fast that was? And if you could be faster than that, you're on your way to magician. And so then I would do the same routine, but now instead of being the rubber band going through your fingers necessarily, it's like you are really fast. You know what I mean? So, and those are and I say this is the quickest thing I can do, and I do that, and it's like, so it was kind of building into a race thing. So now I could sit here and be like, okay, well, what else would be really fast to do with a rubber band, right? So now I'd sit down and say, well, so what else can I do that's fast with a rubber band? Well, maybe if someone shoots it and I catch it, right? That'd be fast. And so maybe I can work out a routine to do something with that. Where I'll say, here, I'll put the rubber band, have a rubber band gun, then boom, shoot it, and then catch it over here, or whatever, So that's another really good thing about creating you can do is through the performance of it. So if you're performing, if you're working on stuff actively, you'll come up with new things all the time because you'll have little ideas during the performance, like, oh, I should have said that, and then you're changing your routines and you're able to come up with new things. And so I think that's kind of how I create through all that. So I know there's a lot, and I kind of just threw it in. But since this is getting recorded, you can go back and watch it also.
Right. Actually, this goes great into the next question, which is again by Sean Mullins, and it's I'm sorry, is that the right one? Yeah, it was the Sean Mullins one. Okay, here's one. What do you think of creators who don't perform? As in, they create a trick only just to sell it.
Yeah, that's I'm trying to think if I personally know anyone who just creates. I think creating and performing, like I would, if I had a wish, if I had two choices, I had a button I could push, and one was I could create crazy tricks but I can't perform, or I could perform amazingly but I can't create tricks. I would probably say perform amazingly instead of create tricks, because it really depends on what you want to get out of magic. And so creators who just try to get money, go ahead and do that. People are going to pick up on the fact that the magic isn't as strong as it could be, or that you might have never performed it in your life, and they'll pick up on that. And also, so people pick up on that, and then you won't be able to do an interview and talk about performing because you don't perform, you just create. And I think a lot of the best, and I'll meet people who will do magic because I just want to get into it. I want to, I'm shy or whatever, and they don't ever perform. It's like, well, that's not going to ever help if you're just creating. And if you're creating for money, I think that's, I'm not going to say you can't do that. I'm not going to say, because you're going to do it if you want to or not. But you're not going to probably make the most money off of creating, You're probably going to make more money off of performing. And I think people are going to pick up on the fact that your magic, you have no idea what happens when to perform, because your magic is going to be either so messed up, so angly, because if you're not performing, you're only performing for one angle, so you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that looks perfect, great, like over here it looks like, oh, there's the coin, or whatever. And so creating just for the fact of getting famous, whatever, it's I think I get more entertainment from just doing magic out in a show and being able to just share the power of magic. It's like, what would Superman be doing if he didn't save the world and stuff, or Spider-Man if he wasn't like helping out citizens? He'd be sitting in his room changing the channel with his with his web or something, and it's not helping anyone except for him. And he's not going to get the full benefit of what he does. He's not going to be able to share that, you know,
Right.
and which is why people do go out and do that, is to share that and that's why I do it, is to share this whole the power of magic, and I think it's a very strong thing. So
All right.
that's for self creating just for money or creating just for internet magic fame, people are going to pick up if you don't perform, and I think it goes hand in hand almost. So
Right.
I love
Absolutely.
that.
I've that was one of the first things when I started that I just couldn't wait to start doing. I mean, and performing for your friends and family is one thing even, but you need. I feel like if you're going to, if you want to
Yeah,
be a good performer,
yeah, because I'll perform for my family, and it's never the same. Never.
right?
They know when I'm palming a card out. They're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah," and I'm like, "Well, I'm not trying to fool you guys. I'm just trying to work on this routine. I'm just gonna go out and do it for some actual people now.
Well, and I think performing for people who do not have vested interest in your happiness is really important. People who are going to sit there and call you out and be like, hey, look, that sucked. And, we saw this. And people who don't know, like, my girlfriend probably knows just about every single move I do. So it's really hard to force a card on her, ever.
hmm
But beyond that, she'll see certain things coming. So I can go out and perform like a card to mouth real quick, real easy, for tons of people all night long. But she knows that if I do a certain set of moves, that's coming, that it's probably just coming.
Yeah.
So you need to perform for fresh eyes, for lots of people, and not be afraid to fail, because you're going to fail. You're going to fail a lot, and that's part of learning. You learn more from failure than you do from success.
Yeah, and that's another problem I see, which also ties into, I'm sure, some other questions possibly, um, is performing for people who know or performing for straight up just for magicians. You're going to have different goals in mind. So if you're trying to perform for a magician, you're going to be doing some weird moves and probably some stuff that really doesn't always work, or something that's uh, kind of a crazy setup. And if you're, and then, yeah, that's good for magicians, but is it really going to matter if you go out to an actual audience? I go to an audience and I say, I have them shuffle the deck up, and I have them name a card and have them name a number, and they go to that number and their card is there. Is that going to be stronger than doing an ambitious card or a scotch and soda
Right.
to the audience? To magicians, because they're thinking about everything. They'll say, "Oh my God,
Right.
how did he shuffle? How did he control it? There must have been a way. Must be luck. Someone's in on it." But audience members are gonna be like, "Oh, that's very nice," like, what a coincidence, or wow, that's magic. But he's been doing, you know, but oh my goodness, he found the corner of a card in an envelope. How did that get there? That's amazing. I was holding it the whole time. So I think as magicians we kind of, some of us aren't able to think how this is impactful to an actual audience. Is this actually workable? And that's a big thing. Is I see a lot of really good products out there that get lost in a day, or that people say, "Oh, that sucks," because you're watching the demo and you're like, "Oh yeah, I know how that's done. That sucks." But
Right.
that's not what all magicians are going for. I have a couple of really good DVDs here by a friend of mine, Sean Robeson, who is a magician and he works he's 5 nights a week. He's doing magic,
Right.
and he puts out these DVDs. And yes, magicians might watch them and be like, "Oh yeah, there's nothing, no flashy gimmicks. It's not like a flap card. It's not instant visual, crazy gimmicks. I don't like it." But this is the stuff that you're going to be going out and you can do over and over and over again, and you're going to be doing at your strolling routines. Like when I'm doing a strolling routine, I'm doing some special stuff, but I'm doing like, ambitious card. I'm doing invisible deck. I'm doing, stuff that's solid, workable. That's
Classics are classics for a reason, man.
that's why. I do sponge balls when I perform. Would I do sponge balls for a room of magicians? I might. Who knows? Because I got some cool moves. But it's and people are just thinking, if I come out with a SpongeBob DVD of stuff that I only perform and my SpongeBob routine, people are gonna be like, oh, that's stupid. You know, uh, a lot of people will. There'll be some people out there like, wow, I could see the potential in this, but I think we're also breeding a generation of magicians who just want to be fooled by trailers, and they don't care about real world application. The trailers are always funny cut, and we're always like trying to make sure everything's perfect. Um,
I'm trying
and
to leave the important stuff out, or at least some of the
yeah,
important stuff.
yeah, you're like, oh, this trick looks awesome, and you get it, and like, hold on, there's like a whole sequence that they didn't put in the trailer. Well, that makes it unusable, Or oh,
Right.
I have to talk to this guy before the show and hypnotize him into remembering a card. It's like, yeah, I could put out a crazy routine like that and be like, well, step one is you go and pre-show work this, and now or you hypnotize this guy. So,
Right. No, and I absolutely agree. I mean, that I think that goes back to the instant gratification, though.
yeah,
I have, I mean, I'll go through and look ad copies, and instead of a lot of the ad copies I look at, if I can't figure it out and I really like the trick, um, I do two things. I'll go through and try to create it myself, my version, because I can, or I will buy it. And most of the time, even if I create my own, I like to buy the original effect because I feel like I was inspired by that, and they deserve that kind of bow, if that
uh-huh.
makes sense. That nod towards them. They worked really hard to inspire me just then, and they deserve that money.
Yeah, or you could do it the other way, and you can go and buy the trick and just say, this isn't going to quite work for me, but how can I make it work for me?
Hmm.
How, because you'll buy a DVD, and even if they go through everything to say, every joke, like you'll buy, like I've seen this happen with fiber optics. Magnificent product, fantastic. It's
Hmm.
like the end all for end all almost of that particular routine. He gives like 80 hours of routining, and he even gives you the jokes. And I've seen magicians out there who are doing verbatim that routine, same jokes and awkward laugh pauses and stuff. And I'm like, yo, like that is not working for you, and the audience isn't. It's not working for you, and they can tell because the whole rest of the show you're doing something totally different. And when you get to this trick, you're like changed it.
Hmm.
And and I think that's important, which is why sometimes I don't know if Jay Sankey does this on purpose, but he's like doing his DVDs and he's like the most ridiculous thing to watch, and he's like, oh, who's ever gonna perform like that? But now and it's the same with reading books. You're gonna have to come up with your own reasoning and styles. So I think when people are watching DVD and like they don't like the reason for something, it's not a reason to be like, oh, well, this is stupid because I would never say that,
Right.
you know. So
You have to look your. I mean, part of being a performer is, we talked about a lot about this, with Chris and Brandon earlier this week in Full Circle was, connecting with your audience. You have to connect. If you're not connecting, then why are you there?
yeah, and I learned this quick off when I started doing. I started at a restaurant years ago. It was like my first restaurant gig. I would go up to tables, and man, I was getting better responses if I just talked to them for a bit. You know, if I go up to them and just say, "Oh, magic," here's my flame wallet, here are cards. It's like, yeah, they like the magic, but I think more of it is about connecting and getting to know who you're performing for, and just getting to know who they are. So, yeah, and you can't learn all that from a DVD. You're not going to learn how to connect with people. Uh, you're not going to learn how to know people and how to communicate through a DVD. You're going to learn what to say for maybe a joke, but it's not always going to work either. But you got to really find what you do and kind of find yourself. And I know a lot of these, I see a lot of magicians who I'll talk to, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to do a show. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll do this, yeah. And then they go up on stage, like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, here's a show. And it's like, it's like, yo, that's a totally different person. You know, that's totally like people pick up on like the act. And you know, there's some magicians out there who have acts that work because they go all out. So you've got Zabrecki, right? He does his. He has a fabulous act, and it's the creepiest thing. And he just pulls it off because he goes all way in. And then after the show, you talk to him. He's like, "Oh, thanks, I really appreciate it. Yeah, that's great to hear. Yeah." And he's like totally different. And it's like, well, you know, because it's an act, you know. And they go all out, they do it, and that's kind of like, and it's unique enough. But when you're going out and you're like just taking on the role of like, was it Professor Hinkle from like Frosty the Snowman, who's like, you know, the bow tie and the hat, and it's like it's not genuine enough. There's not enough to it that makes it believable. You know, there's a lot of good acts out there that kind of give this weird vibe, but it works. You know, you've got who else you got? You've got I can't remember. The two British guys, the two British fellows who have like their is it Weston?
We're talking about oh god, the British guys, not the Swedish guys.
British.
British guys.
British.
Are you talking about the guys who did the did like shadow reading for Penn and Teller, or?
I think they were on Penn and Teller for one of their things, but they're like British.
They're all very old English, and they're professors.
But they go way into it. You know, they got the mustache going, and they're just and the whole scene, and so you know that's not really who they are, but they're playing that, and that works, as opposed to someone who's up there just doing something stupid and ridiculous. And I think that's an important thing about picking a character. Like for me, I could go up and be myself. You know, that's what I do. I be myself. But I could also go up, and if I go all out and I want to do a cowboy show, I'll go up there, I'll get ridiculous cowboy outfit on, and I'll have this really probably god-awful looking, you know, like horse.
You have to go all in.
In the back. But because people know it's a show, and people aren't going to think, oh, wow, that's like cheesy and weird, because you know, you're putting all the time into it to actually make it into something that's not, and people, you know, can get into that. But if I go up there and I start, you know, trying to do kid show and say I'm going to do miracles and pull a rabbit out of a hat, I don't know. I think a lot of people try to copy what they've seen other magicians do, and they don't think about who they are. You know, they don't put their own self into it.
And that's a growth thing to some extent. You know, you have to find out who you are through doing.
Because people know if you're genuine or not. Mm-hmm. People know. They can pick up on it. They can know that you're faking. They can know that you're not being truthful. You know. And so I've seen a lot of people do that too. So.
Absolutely. We could sit here back and forth, but I need to get back to questions. Otherwise, I'm going to keep on talking myself.
I know, right?
And we're almost getting to that hour mark, so let's get through this question and then maybe get back.
Let me do a trick thing. Let me talk.
Go for it.
How about this? We'll take a break for a trick, because I know talking is great, but you know you'll hear this from thousands of other people too. But I'll go through a trick, kind of. That'll be fun. So we'll take a break from the talking and everything. So this is a routine that was not included in a download that I put out. It was on Penguin, the Karate Coin download. So I did the Karate Coin download, and I filmed that years ago. And I kind of just let it sit around, and I didn't do anything with it. And from then, I started playing around with some different things. And this is a pretty neat little routine that was not included, but is able to do. So if you watch the Karate Coin download, you'll know exactly what to do. So the first thing you're going to need, I'm just going to go through exactly what you need, then I'll kind of go through the routine a little bit. I can't do the full routine, but it's not going to be exactly the same because I'm sitting down. So here's, I'll just go through the routine, I guess. Let me get my camera kind of aimed a little bit straighter here. For everyone who doesn't know, I have my camera sitting up here on top of my computer screen, and I have it's on my tablet because I don't have my camera's not the greatest quality. So this is the thing. You have a coin, right? And so you go and you do your Karate Coin, right? So boom, like that, and you say, whoa, look at that, wow, and you hand that out, and people are amazed. And you can let them keep this, because if you get the download, you learn how to make these. And so pick that up, and you'll learn how to make this, and it'll get, and so you hand it out, they check it out, and once in a while, you'll get someone who'll be like, can you change it back? Can you fix it? Or whatever. Now, from here, a lot of people you'll see do this. They'll go like this, they'll like rub it like this, and then, ooh, it's fixed. And that's nice, but there's a problem there. Because the first time you did it, it was like you had the coin and boom, now it's broken, tons of force, and it's shredded. That's a shredded coin, So you can't just fix it by waving your hand over it. I know you're magical, but the way I didn't like that. So this is what I'll do. So you have them check it out. They're checking it out, everything and whatever, and they're like, "Can you change it back?" And you're like, "Can I change it back?" I could try, Here, let me see. Do you have the coin? You have the coin. Okay. Here, I got a lighter, but this is where I'll try to fix it. But here, I gotta heat it up. So I'll just heat it up a little bit. It's kind of hot, like that. Yeah, like that. And we'll take it. And we'll actually try to fix it here. It's kind of hot, but we can actually push it like this.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's about as good as it's gonna get for now. Okay, and so I flattened it out. Kind of closed the hole a bit. It's that's about. Come on, it's destroyed. There's no way I can really heal it that way. Like I could try to weld it closed, but I could try. I could try to fix it a little bit more. I'll try it with magic this time. How about that? So I already tried the physical one, so we'll try it with magic like this, and I can actually do the rest of it and heal it like that. So,
All right.
So what this is, it's the same thing. You're taking a broken coin and turning it into the normal coin again. But I think adding that extra step kind of adds to the process and also the magic. Because the first time you do it, when you do the original karate coin, so I'll just walk you through it. You have your karate coin you made. You're going to need a couple things. You're going to have your karate coin that you made. You're going to have the normal coin that you borrow or that you have, and then you're going to have this in-between version, which is like half a karate coin. So what I did is I technically made a karate coin, and then I just kind of hammered it back into place. So I hit the edges and tried to close them, and then hit it flat. So you have this this karate coin, and then you have like this intra coin, this metal coin. So what you're going to do is you're going to have this in your pocket with the lighter. So I'll pretend this is my pocket over here. Okay, and you're going to have your karate coin wherever you want, and you're going to have the other coin. So you just take the karate coin, you do the normal karate coin version or whatever, and you ditch this or you sleeve it if you want it for later, or put it in a pocket, because you're going to be going to your pockets to get the lighter anyway, and boom, you're like, and they check it out. So between the time they're checking it out, you ditch this coin into your other pocket, and you just wait for them to say something. They say, okay, can you fix it? Can I fix it? I'll try my best. How about that? And so you go into your pocket and you grab out this and the lighter. Now this is a jet torch lighter, so it's super hot. I wouldn't recommend this. I'd recommend like a Bic or a Zippo or something that's a little less flamey, because what I would do, and I don't have one. This is the only one I had sitting around. I would put this on my finger and I'd kind of like go like this over the lighter, which is kind of like I know Daniel Madison had a thing out with some lighter stuff where you can put your finger in the flame and like move it around. So I do a little bit of that with the coin on it, right? Do that, and then what I do is I'll do a transfer. So I'm taking this. I have the other coin here. I'm going to go like this and take it off my finger, but I put it in this hand. So I'm going to go like this. I curl my finger in. I steal it off using my thumb, like this, as I point, and then pretend to pull it off in this hand. So with all that, you could just do it with the lighter. So you go light, light, light. You take it off in the hand. You put the lighter away. You have this. You kind of work it, squeeze it, give some, and then you show it. You say, that's about as good as it's going to get. You toss it. You go down. You steal back this coin. If it's in your sleeve, you take it out. Or if it's in your pocket, you take it out. And then they could keep this. If they want to keep this, go let them take it, because it's not hard to make one. And that could be the end. But if they want you to, oh man, and they're kind of disappointed you weren't able to fix it, you say, well, this is the best I can do physically. I've been working out, but this is the best I can do. I don't think anyone else can get much better than this, unless you do it magically. You want to see it done magically, and then from there, all you need to do is kind of like a spellbound type of thing. So you have this in finger palm, and you come up, and as you do that, you French drop this as you wave. That's the simplest way. There's a lot of other ways you can do it. If you want, you can, you could probably like that or something, or you could do. You could show it like this and then squeeze it and fix it. So there's a lot of different ways to switch the two coins. You want to make sure that it's kind of magical, but so this is kind of the nicest way you can do it. It's just a real light touch and then hand it out like that and keep this in this real cramped looking hand. The more cramped, the better, right? No, but so that's so there you go. So all you're gonna need is this, and borrow a coin. And then check out the Karate Coin download, and you'll learn how to make it, because I'm not going to go through that now. But you're going to have to get a couple things, but you'll be able to make coins, and a Karate Coin costs you about $14 to get an alright one. I know Illusionist started selling them right around the time I think I put this out, or I was trying to put this out, and they put one out, but they were selling coins made by like Schoolcraft or something. And but yeah, this was out there to make your own, and they're pretty quick. So. Okay. And yeah, Sean just got back. It's Morgan and West. I was thinking Smith and West, but it's Morgan and West. So thanks to Sean.
Morgan and
West. But yeah, they're that's a good example for that. Back earlier.
That was a good one. Hold on. I just got a message from Laura saying what happened, and I'm not sure what she means. I think the broadcast has come in and out for people live viewing a couple of times, because I see that on the feed, but we'll just keep on going, because I know that it's all broadcasting, so it'll all be on live. People can go back and look at it.
Yeah. And if there are questions, you can contact me for anything, and I'll walk you through this. I didn't include this on the free download because I made the download, then I'm like, oh, I should do this because this is like, I kept getting, once I started making these and I started performing it, I kept having people ask me, can you fix it? And up till then, I was like, either I just have to give their old quarterback and be like, well, we'll do a trade because I can't. But what good are you as a magician if you can't fix something as simple as this? You're fixing, you did this, and you're tearing cards and fixing them, and, why can't you do it? So that was my response. So... yeah,
that's a really good response. I like. You can almost. I mean, even if they don't ask, if you don't want to be giving out quarters all day, you could go through the entire routine. Just so you can keep those 2 extra quarters in your pocket all the time. You don't have to carry around a pocket full of change.
Pocket full of quarters. No, either way, if I only really do it if they ask, because I don't want to force that on them. It's kind of like. Like if you do a trick where like cards switch places into the deck or something, or a card changes on the table, sometimes it's better just to not force it on them and let them kind of finish the sentence, because it's their idea. It's stronger, So if they make the choice to do something, it's stronger. So if you're doing a trick and you throw the card on the table, and you've already done the trick and it's over, and they think they're going to be smart and pick it up and look at it, but it's already like, something already happened, or if you take the card and you go like if you did something like this, like you're like, all right, let's see. So I have your card, the 7 of spades, and we'll put it on the table, and then they pick it up. And, it is the 7 of spades. They came up with that idea to turn it over, and they're wrong. You're like, yeah, you're wrong. Like, what do you think is going to happen? It's like, come on, it's like just watch the trick. Right. And from then you could switch it for 7 of hearts or whatever. But since they came up with the idea, it's stronger. If you say think of an animal, think of an animal like on a farm or something, and you say
cow.
Right? Now let's say I'm doing a trick and I'm forcing the word cow, right? Or if I'm doing a routine and I want someone to say dog, to have someone else say it is more powerful than me saying, like on a farm they have cows, because then since it's their idea, it kind of gets them thinking, well, what if I said horse, or what if I
Mhm.
said sheep, or what if I said your mom? No,
I, that came
you
out
know,
of my brain. I'm almost positive.
yeah. But so that's what they're gonna think, and I think that makes it stronger too. And I think by forcing things on people, like, because I used to do the trick wow, right? The trick wow. It's the one where the card changes,
The wild
and
gimmick, yeah.
yeah, I would do it as a transposition kind of. So I would be like, okay, well, here's the card in here, and it changes in your card, and in the center of the deck is that other card, the six of hearts or whatever, eight of hearts.
Hmm.
And I used to do that, and I found that it was a little bit more powerful if I did the trick. I had them hold the deck, did the trick, and then the card's there, and then I didn't even mention it. I didn't say where's the other card or where do you think the six is or anything, because it makes it almost more powerful. Because if they say it, it's like, oh my god, I was holding the cards the whole time. How did it get there? Like, and it's their idea and they're thinking it. But if they don't say it, then it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, I don't think, because the magic already happened. The strongest thing happened here. This is like an offset. Like, who cares? Who cares what
Bonus
um,
time.
yeah. So it's their thing. It's if it comes from their head, it's more powerful than almost anything you could force on them.
Hey, give us one second. It looks like we're having issues with. Let me look in the thread and make sure everybody is seeing this. Okay.
Okay.
Everyone still view the video. All right. Well, I'm getting confirmation on that. Assuming we are up. When I get confirmation that people are viewing still and we still got that. Because I mean, I'm still showing viewers here, so I think people are
Okay.
still looking at it. Do you want to start the contest here shortly? Because we are at
Yeah.
an hour and 8 minutes in. Hello?
Yeah. We'll do that. I know you got places to go and you're a busy man. So, um,
Well, as long as I'm out of here by 11, I'm good. But I think that everything should be fine.
okay.
Okay, so yeah, I'm still getting back to questions. Yep, everything's good. So let's keep it going. So we want them to just have start messaging the word um,
Yep.
uh, crimp. Start
Crimp.
messaging the
Go.
word crimp right
Crimp.
to my message box, and by the very end we'll have a winner of a special mystery prize of stuff, things, and or gold. Could be gold. Nobody knows.
Won't be gold. I don't have gold. It will not be
Well,
gold.
you're turning ash to amber there, so
Yeah. Right. That's a cool trick too. I've been playing around with that a little, but
Yeah, I really like that ring so much. I just haven't gone out and gotten it yet. Um,
yeah.
okay, so back to questions. Okay, so yep, everybody's seeing it fine. So next question I had was from okay, I'm gonna try to not butcher. It looks like a Chrysant Ludrian,
He's a
and it
winner.
is if you can change something in Magic, what is it? I'm starting
If
to
I could
get
change something in Magic,
crimps coming in.
it would be to make to have no one in my area do Magic, so there's no competition. No,
Right.
take out every. No, but if I could change something in Magic, what would it be? I think it would just be, I don't know, because I kind of want to say to kind of instill some of the older values of secrecy and respect that there is with Magic. And nowadays it's like, anyone can go on YouTube and there's no secrecy, and like, and it's funny because the rule is like you can't reveal your secrets unless you're getting paid for them. Unless they're on a website and you're getting paid for it, then you can reveal secrets. But I think it's just like kind of backwards how that we've kind of changed it to, it's okay to share secrets, and like, it's gonna happen. Like even if we were really strict about it, people would still expose it. People are still trying to expose, Coke secret recipe, or exposing, the secret sauce at McDonald's. But that's kind of one thing I just find is kind of ironic, is the whole, the secrecy matter of it. And I kind of fall for it too, and I'm in the process of changing some of it. But like even on my public website for Magic, I have a shop where you can buy my stuff. Yeah, it's from, and I was kind of started off an experiment to see if it even work, and it's nothing's happening on it, like, because public people don't care. Like I think most of the public doesn't care too much what the secrets are, which is kind of a good thing too. But that's probably what I try to change. So
Yeah, it's hard with having it's hard with having where we work built on secrets. That's the idea here, and it's hard when you you want to keep a secret from everybody. But realistically, I always felt that if somebody really wants to know, they'll figure it out anyway. So most people just are like my girlfriend. She doesn't care about the method. She just wants to be amazed. And for the most part, like, I'll bring out new stuff, and it just blows her away. And now after a few times, she goes, "Okay, I can figure that out." But a lot of people just kind of they want to sit there and listen and watch and have an experience. Not be told, "Hey, I'm more clever than you."
yeah, which gets to another conversation about performing and the whole who's more clever. And I was sent a great video of Sylvester the Jester, where he's just like, he does the trick. He's like, "You know how it's done? You know how it's done? Yes, because I'm smarter than you." And he comes right out and says, "It's because you're stupid people." But everyone's like, having a good time and stuff. But
Right.
I think a lot of magicians do kind of perform in that sense. It's I'm smarter than you, you're dumber than me, I'm more clever, catch me if you can type of thing. And I think that just takes away from it, because there's parts where it's like, I'm gonna fool you, and sometimes bring it to light, bring the elephant out of into the room, talk about it. Yeah, this is gonna be fooling. Am I trying to fool you? Yeah, but I'm not trying to make you feel stupid. And I think just trying to get that mindset out of the performance, because we're not there to make people feel stupid. That's the last thing we want to do, make people feel, well, unless that's what you really want to do. Like, I know you have like some of the older guys like Slidini, who his whole thing was a challenge. And I think he performed more for magicians anyway, but it was more of a challenge. Like, he had one trick I saw, it was like he had a bunch of cards on the table, and then he's like, "Look at a card up here, and now it's down here. Look, you didn't see it? It's right here." It's like a challenge. It's like, well, okay, well, now you're challenging me to find out how you get the card from up here to down here. And I think if you want to do that, that's yours, but I don't think that's the best for performance as a challenging. Maybe magicians like it because we're trying to challenge them with these moves, and it's a little different performing for magicians and for an actual audience. But, that's you don't want to make people think that they're stupid.
Well, and it's a style thing. I mean, you look at like Cardini and his performances, and like how cards just appeared out of his hands. And I mean, it wasn't so much of a challenge as much as just elegant in the way things were happening. And elegant is completely different than I'm smarter than you. It's more like, look how much work I've put into doing this so well.
Yeah, and he's not the example I'm doing is he's straight up saying, "Can you catch me?" Here, you're too slow. Here, you're too slow. It's like, here, watch. I'll take the coin and I'll put it in my hand here. It's gone. You're too slow. It's over here. Here, try to catch me. Try to catch me when I do it. You didn't catch me that time either. And for lay people, they're gonna, even if you change up the method, you're like, "Did you see it? No, you're too slow. It's already over here." And by instilling that, you're creating the environment where they're going to try to catch you no matter what, because now you're kind of like nana 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 boo boo, I'm faster than you type of thing, and I'm smarter than you, and I know the secrets that you don't know, which makes me better, and yeah, I don't think that's a productive way to perform. Maybe for magicians, because that's kind of what a lot of magicians are, depending on what group of magicians, they kind of want to be fooled, and they know all the methods. So when you're throwing out new methods, it's like, yeah, I am smarter than you, but we all know it. It's kind of, for us, we understand. It's like, okay, well, he fooled the crap out of me somehow. I'm mad at him, but whatever. That's cool. That's cool.
But
We see
right,
it differently than an audience does, who has no clue what a crimp is. No, that we already said that earlier, but
I've got lots
yeah,
of methods
stuff
for
like that. Like, they don't know, so they feel left out. But since we know, yeah, we know what a crimp, we know what a thing, we know we know a mark, we know, we know all these different methods. We know you can use tape and blah blah. So how did you do that? Oh man, what a clever guy, But he fooled me so bad, And it's different for performing, and a lot of us, I think, are kind of stuck in that I want to be fooled by a magician phase, and that's transferred through the products that we buy as well. We're buying tricky, magicy, gimmicky products, and we're not thinking about what actual lay people are going to enjoy, and actually that are going to work with them. We just want, I'm going to take out my latest crazy gimmick where the ropes are wrapped around my body, and then and I have to have my temperature has to be right. So it gets crazy, and is that going to really matter for lay audiences if I, just do a snap change? Oh, that's amazing, Magicians are like, whatever, but lay people are like, what the? It was right there. So that's another mindset thing. That's another thing I wish we'd change in magic, I guess. Going back to the last question, is like the way we view magic as the actual purpose. Are we trying to perform to fool, or are we trying to perform just for magicians? Or are we trying to actually perform for audiences and do that? Like, it used to be, I want my own TV magic show, or I want to have my own show in Vegas, and now it's like, I want my own download. I want to be on the front page of T11, and
right.
that's a fine goal. I can understand the fun in that, but that's
Right.
that.
I mean, and that again goes back to, what do you want out of magic? What are you getting? And if you're doing it for you, then you're doing it for you, and that's fine. A lot of us, like, I mean, I enjoy doing what I do, and to some extent, I'd probably do it if I didn't have anybody to perform for. But
Yeah.
I enjoy so much more going out and talking to people and sharing it with them. And if they're not having fun, I'm not having fun.
Yeah.
So I'll have to change it up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Valentine, let's see here. Kosanovic. Valentine Kosanovic asks, as a magician, who are your models? Who are your inspirations?
Man, I have a lot of good inspirations. I was lucky when I started learning magic to have a lot of people who are super helpful and open. And magicians that I look up to, and I look up to a lot of the local people around here, just because they were so able to share. Like, I look up to my friend Tom, because he was secretive, but he was able to teach me. My friend, Justin, who got me started and everything. But magicians, I'm looking up to, like, Ryan Bliss, because he's like another person you just can bounce ideas off of, and he's honest. He'll be like, I hate that. I'll be like, well, I kind of like it. Well, I hate it. Well, why? And he'll be like, okay. And so, a lot of those magicians who are honest, but they can back up. I don't want a friend to just be like, oh, that sucks. Why? Oh, I hate it. I think it's stupid. Well, why? I want to know a reason. Sean Robeson, just because, same reason. Real open, sharing and helping out, real helpful. And other magicians who aren't local and a little more, I guess, well-known. Huge fan. I look up to John Gustafaro a lot. And I do, because I say his name enough that I can actually pronounce his last name. So I look up to him quite a lot. He's got some amazing work. Who else do I look up to? Um, I look up to my Xavier Spade because he's super helpful too. He does a lot of work out there, and he's very honest. He's one of those guys who's like, you'll meet him and you'll be like, man, this guy's mean. It's like, no, he's not. Well, yeah, but he's honest, and he's telling you what he honestly thinks, and he's not going to sit there like a lot of them are just be like, yeah, that's great, that's cute. Or I'll show like a terrible trick to someone and be like, oh, that's great. I'm like, no, it's not. It's garbage. Like, why would you say that? And then you have magicians who will like ask me about stuff, and I'll be like, I don't like that, and this is why. And then they're like, well, I don't care, because I'm like, well, you showed it to me. Like,
Right.
I'm just giving you my opinion. Like, you could take it or leave it. I'm just telling you what I think.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Xavier.
So it's like just those guys, guys who are out there working, who are, doing their work, and who are open to, who really love magic and really appreciate it for the art that it is. So.
Slightly off the wall question from Fred Rosenbaum, kind of changing gears a little bit. Going
Yes, I
back
get
to
my hair cut at no. Get my hair cut at no. Okay. Is that the question?
No, it's not, but I'm sure it'll come up now. He asks if you have marketed an effect and someone shows you their version and says they're going to market it, and there's almost no difference, what would you say to them?
I'd say I think a lot of that kind of comes down to the community as a whole, because you'll be like, well, I'm putting out this. Well, what's the difference? Well, there is none. Well, you're stealing it. It's it's not worth it. There's two tricks that came out right now. It's Money and Extortion. I think that's the names from two different creators, different sides of the world, and they're essentially the same trick. And people are like, oh, are they different? Well, yeah, they're probably different. And they have different uses, and there's a lot of tricks out there that are similar. But if someone comes up to me and they're, let's say, like with all be consumed, coin and bottle, and they show me it's the same thing, I'll be like, well, what's the point? Like, and I think a lot of magicians are pretty understanding of that, especially if you go, like I had a kid who was, there's a kid online who was talking about coin and bottle. It wasn't like mine at all. But he's like, oh, it's, this and this. And I watched it. I showed the video. I'm like, well, this is exactly the same looking as this other one. And he just didn't know. And I just told him, oh, okay, well, whatever. And I have known magicians who have shown me something, and it's like, yeah, that's already been out. And they do release it. And word gets around. I think word gets around enough. And there's really not a whole lot you can do. But I think the only thing I would do if someone did that and they released my trick, I would just say, you'd have to say, this is blatantly my trick. We've talked about this. I don't know why he did this. I'm disappointed. And then let it take its course, because there's not a whole lot I can do if someone wants to rehash something. As far as someone coming up to me and showing me my trick and making it better, if it's better, I don't see why I should not let someone try to improve magic.
As long as they add to it.
Like, if someone comes up with a better method than mine, and it's a better method, I'm not going to say, well, don't do it because I have mine out. It's like, well, that's great. Like, I would, at least I'd love to do something with you on it, or, or do whatever you want with it, because I think it's a huge, improvement, or I think it's the next step. And I don't want to be the one to stall magic growth and to not improve the magic.
Right. Well, and when you respond to like that, people will want to, at the very least, mention you and thank you. Hey, this is my inspiration. I saw him do this and I was like, wow. I can do this a little bit better. Let's try it.
and everything I put out anyway is just an extension of someone else's stuff.
Right.
Like in All Be Consumed, Michael Weber has some real similar work. And Illusionist even put out a trick that was very similar, but it takes it to that next level and just puts your spin on it and makes it, so that's that. It's you can't try to stunt the growth of magic just because you have something that you like that you don't want someone else to put out something better. You might feel that way, but you gotta just admit the fact. Oh, it's better than mine.
Yeah, it's hard to be the
Why
bigger
does he have a
person.
trick in mind that he wants to put out? Is that why he asked the question? He has a trick he wants to put out of mine? No, just
Well, if he does, he needs to post up and talk to you about it.
yeah, right. Nah, but so that's how I. Uh,
All right. Let's see here. Got a few more questions here. Sean Mullins.
oh my God, is
Uh,
he? Nah. Nah.
what's
So
up?
what did Sean say?
Sean's asking you what's your favorite stage routine, and I'm not sure if that's your own personal routine or in general, but you can answer any way you want. It's your show.
Favorite stage routine? Um, Man, I don't know. I really been digging because I don't do a whole lot of big stages. I do like shows with people, like 20, 40, 60, whatever people. I've never been on a stage, but it would either I like the rope and nut routines. Like I dig those a lot. And as a card routine goes, it'd probably be multi-mental from John Gustafaro. If you want to do a card trick for stage, I think that's a killer. Um, but I really, but of the ones that I don't perform, I kind of like the master prediction system. I think that's really cool. I don't have one, but I think that's super, super cool. So,
All right. Let's see here. Looks like we got one or two more questions, and then we can wrap things up and announce the winner. Uh, Croissant asks, how to choose, how would you choose, or how do you choose good music for a routine?
I'm not the one to talk about this since I don't use music much at all.
Mm,
But what I would say to that is, and I learned this from Shoma, who, if you haven't heard of Shoma, Soma, who is an amazing magician who does a ton with music and a lot of he does a lot of custom music, but he will sit and listen to music all the time. Like he's a huge music junkie. He just gets music and he does some recording and stuff. Um, but what you really need to do is you need to figure out what kind of mood you're looking for. I'm not going to be playing Philip Glass for a routine that involves beer production or something. I'm going to be playing, if I'm doing a thing with beer production, I'll probably play some like Dave Matthews or something, but
Highway
I
to
think a lot of
Hell.
it has to do with the mood that you're going for
Mhm.
and what audience you're going for. And if I'm doing a kid's birthday party and I'm doing a card manipulation act, let's pretend, or a youth party or a group, I might throw on something that's on the radio now. It might be fun to and sometimes it helps to pick music that has and it's all about the mood. You have different card manipulators who do like or you have a guy who's like classical music. I know there's lots of different routines that vary. So it really depends on your routine, your style, and what you want. So
All right.
I'm not the best person to ask about music, but um, I would check out some of Shoma's stuff, and I know he has a lecture I think he's done where he talks a lot about music, and it's great. He definitely is the one to talk about with all that.
All right. Fred, by the way, commented back. He said, "I don't want to copy any of your stuff. I was just wondering how you handle it. Great answer. Thanks." So,
Hey, no
I
problem.
think
Yeah,
you
I
can
was just
kind of
joking about
copy
that.
your stuff.
I don't think people want to steal my stuff yet, but
Too much vested interest. I'm looking through here, and I think that pretty much covers just about every question. Some of them were kind of asked in a couple different ways, so I tried to combine those the best I could. But
okay.
I'm pretty sure that that covers it at this point. Did you have anything else
Perfect.
you wanted to share or update us with, or?
No, but I'll give you one thing I've been playing around with actually, since we'll end off on a trick kind of.
Okay.
It's the Strike Vanish, because I use the Strike Vanish for a couple different things. I've been playing around with this, and I think this is a neat way to do it. Um, I know this is kind of like, oh, who cares about the Strike Vanish, but I like the move. Let's see if I can get it. a good camera shot here of what I want to show you. So you see a lot of people who do the strike vanish. I'll do it over here. Who will have I gotta find like a. I'll use this pen. Okay. Who will do the strike vanish like this? They'll have the strike vanish, and then they'll toss this up, and they'll come down like that to vanish the coin. I'll take this off, so maybe it'll look a little. It's like this, and they toss it.
Right.
So that's cool and all. But I've been playing around with this, and you guys can play around with this. I'm not saying this is the best way to do it, but it's another way to do it. But instead of using your hand to toss it or to drop your hand and then grab it, right, do this movement. Just take the finger and be like, flick it, like this. So it's like boom, boom, right? And I messed it there, but what it does is it takes the coin and it shoots it back. And your hand's not moving really, and it just shoots it. But it'll shoot it
like
right
your hand's opening in real time.
It's like boom, boom. It's like, oh. And it's actually kind of cool. And I don't know. It's something it probably doesn't look too great on camera on the internet.
It looks awesome on camera.
Well, yeah, of course
all it looks like is your
awesome
fingers open.
It's gonna look awesome on camera because it's like in like 13 frames per second. But try it in front of your mirror and just kind of do this. It's just like a little flick motion to flick the coin back, and all you're doing is with this finger, or because I keep the coin right there. And when you flick it, it just, instead of having to move your hand over here to catch it, you just catch it right where it's at. So this hand has a lot less movement, and then you can open your hands at the end. So I don't know. That's just one little thing I think I'd throw in there. Thought it'd be fun. Something to think about.
All right.
Yeah. So I guess that's it.
Perfect. All right. Well, that was great. You've been a wonderful guest. All right. So we got quite a few people messaged me in, and the fifth message though was from Croissant Ludrian. So
all right.
Croissant is our winner. I'll go ahead and get in contact or get contact with him and get him hooked up with you for the prize. What did he win?
So he won a trick. Okay, one of my tricks. I got three tricks out right now. An all we consume, burn notice, and senses, and those are three that are actually like physical DVDs. So you won one of those to your choosing. I say you choosing. I know some of them are older, but if you might find yourself doing coin bottle more than tricks with a catch-up cup, depending on where you're at, or you might have stuff with receipts. So it's really up to you to choose. So that's what you won. Just contact me and I'll ship it out. And ooh, look at this. Let me show you this. This is not your prize. This is my prize. I got some. This is pumpkin bread. I just got it. So anyway, that's off chart. But so he gets that. That's what he gets. And I'm gonna throw up another contest just for the end, because I know there are people who can't watch this live, so they have no chance to win. So what I'm gonna do is send me a message and send me. You just send I don't know, the word Skittles. Okay, if you can message me or message Alex or whoever you can message with the word Skittles, we'll put you in for a drawing, and then I'm not sure what we'll win. Maybe like I'll send you like a download or something, or a free lesson, or like a little tip or something, or we'll figure that out. But you'll win something too. We'll do like a drawing, so we have a chance for everyone to win something.
All right. Well, absolutely. What we'll do is we'll get together at the end of or in 1 week, and we'll just compile all the Skittles messages and do the drawing. So we'll announce the winner 1 week from today, which is October 4th. Sound good?
Yeah, it is good. This is really good.
It looks good.
Oh my god.
All right. Well, I'm going to leave you to your bread. Thank you very much. An awesome guest.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's been a real pleasure. Hopefully we can have a few more chats. Some things we were talking about in the pre-show I want to still get at you about, but we'll deal with that there. Just to give everybody else a little bit of a reminder, September 29th, we have Peter Nardi, and that's going to be hosted by our own Oliver Dobbs. October 3rd, we have Roger Nycutt. And October 6th, we have Smoothini. So that's our next three lineups after our awesome guest, Christopher. I want to thank you one more time for coming out, and we'll be in contact, all right, man?
All right, thanks, Alex. Have a good one, everyone. Thanks for stopping in, and whoever's watching this later, thanks a lot. So
All right.
that's it.
Talk to you later, Chris. Bye.
Oh, hold
Hmm?
on. No,
What's up?
that's it. Yeah, that's good. All
You sure?
right, bye.
All
Yep,
right, that's it.
perfect. All right, bye.
Bye, guys.